All right, guys. So I just wanted to create this video. I've gotten a lot of questions about how to uh, do some spot seeding during the spring, and in particular, that sort of process. So what I'm going to go over is how to do that. And so this area that I have right here. So this is this area between the sidewalk and the asphalt. Um, I would say it's a fairly common sort of area where you might lose some grass over the winter and whatnot. Um, but basically, the first thing, kind of the overarching most important thing to understand is when people are asking me about seeding in the spring, um, I typically don't advise it because I'm applying a pre-emergent for crabgrass. That pre-emergent chemical will prevent not only crabgrass from germinating, but also turfgrass as well. So what I'm about to show you today is kind of this roundabout sort of way to get around that. If you really would like to seed in the spring, especially like with spot seeding. So we'll get down to it. So basically, number one, what we want to do is we want to apply some fresh topsoil. This topsoil that I got, this is just from Home Depot. It's a lawn and garden topsoil, real standard, very basic. Maybe costs like $2 or $3 per bag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply about 2 or 3 inches of this topsoil into my area here. And you'll see like this has got really nice deep dark color. If you do have some weeds, you can pull some weeds out. Get the area as bare as you can. But basically, this is what I'm doing here. You just want to do 2 or 3 inches. And what that's going to do is when you put the seed down, we want to make sure that the seed's going to germinate and not come into contact with the soil that's underneath this, because that soil has the active chemical in it. So we want to make sure whatever that emerging first root, which is the radical, that's what the term for it is called, comes into contact with some fresh, clean soil. So like I said, about 2 or 3 inches. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my seed. I'm using a Winning Colors Tall Fescue. Seed is very important. I would purchase seed from a larger landscape company, a good quality seed. If you can, this doesn't have it now, but sometimes you may find A-list seed. It comes with a blue tag on it. It's a little bit more difficult to find, but you might be able to find it at landscape supply stores. Overall, you kind of just want a good quality seed. And for today, I'm using a Tall Fescue here. How much seed to apply? There is a formula to it, and there is a rate that you would apply it depending on the turfgrass species. However, just for today, and because we're kind of just doing some spot seeding, it's a small area. You kind of just want, maybe 1 or 2 seeds per square inch. So you really don't have to go real crazy on the seeding. It'll fill in nicely. So you want to get in on this, get an idea. This is what it would look like as far as the amount of seed. If you have a larger area, you could certainly use this. This is a seed shaker that I found on Amazon. So if you have a larger area, you would just do the same thing. But like I said, 1 or 2 seeds per square inch or so. Once I've seeded, now because it's such a small area, I'm just going to take a fork and I'm just going to lightly sort of incorporate the seed into the soil here. If you have a larger area, you can use a rake to do this. All you're doing is you're just trying to incorporate that seed into the new soil here. Take a little more topsoil. I like to do just a little bit of a very, very light top dressing over the top of it. Then from there, you want to use straw. So you want to use straw versus other coverings like hay. You don't want to use hay. Hay does have quite a bit of weed seeds in it. You could also use those that pelletized sort of mulch. That will also work good. But this is straw. So you could also find this at landscape supply stores. It comes in a bag like this, vacuum sealed. The amount of straw I'm going to put down, it's going to be enough to cover the soil that we just put down. So you want to put enough where it's covering the soil. So you don't want to see any soil underneath the straw. And this straw, like I said, it's very easily accessible. Landscape supply stores, or like I said, some of that pelletized sort of mulch. But whether it's that pelletized mulch or straw, the idea behind this is that this straw is going to, one, it's going to hold moisture, and two, it's going to prevent any washout in case we were to get any real heavy rainfall. And then from here, what you're going to do is you would water this, and the idea behind the watering is you want to water just enough so that the soil is staying moist, and you want to keep it nice and moist for until you start to see germination, which I would say, depending on the turfgrass species that you're using, could be anywhere between 14 and 20 days, I would say. Water twice a day, typically. Just the idea, you just want to keep that soil just moist. Don't want to overwater it. You don't want to saturate it. Just keep it nice and moist. Once you start to get germination, like out of 14 to 20 days, you're going to start to see the grass coming through the straw. At that point, you'll continue to water that light and frequent a little bit longer, but then you want to transition into more deep and infrequent watering. As far as the straw, you can let it be. It will eventually decompose, or once you start to see that germination, you can go ahead and lightly rake out the straw. But like I said, it certainly will decompose as well. And that's pretty much it. That's how you go ahead and do a proper seeding in the spring to try to get around and kind of circumvent the pre-emergent for crabgrasses that we apply in the springtime. All right, thank you guys.